The clocks in Westminster had not yet struck dawn. The City of London lay under a heavy, suffocating blanket of darkness, struggling to breathe after another night of sirens, smoke, and shattered glass. Most of Britain was asleep, praying for a morning that might finally bring peace. But inside the fortified blast-proof walls of No. 10 Downing Street, sleep was the enemy. The lights in the Prime Minister's private study were burning with a manic, feverish intensity. It was exactly 4 a.m. The moment that history will likely record as the absolute death of dignity in British politics. Karma sat alone, the yellow glow of a single desk lamp illuminating a face etched not with sorrow for a burning nation, but with a cold, calculating fury. On the mahogany desk before him sat the document that had started it all, the 7-page classified memo from Prince William, the paper that accused him of negligence. The paper that stripped him of his moral authority. To any other leader, this memo would have been a resignation letter. It was a signal to step down and let the Crown restore order. But for Starr, in the isolation of that early morning hour, it was not a defeat. It was a declaration of war. He wasn't inside No. 10, the 4 a.m. breakdown, planning his exit. He was planning his revenge. According to a terrifying account from a senior aide who was present in the room, a source who has since fled London for their own safety, Starmer looked at the prince's signature on the final page and whispered 3 chilling words. Burn him down. This was not a figure of speech. This was a direct order. At 4:03, the atmosphere in the room shifted from panic to something far more sinister. Starmer physically disconnected the official secure landline used to communicate with the palace. He ordered the cabinet secretary to be locked out of the private quarters. Then he opened a locked drawer in his desk and retrieved a device that strictly speaking should not exist inside. No. 10, an unregistered encrypted satellite phone completely off the government grid. He wasn't calling the police commissioner to beg for more officers to save the streets. He wasn't calling the military to coordinate relief for the terrified citizens. He was initiating a shadow operation that had been designed for this exact nightmare scenario. Scorched Earth Protocol intended to target one man and one man only, the Prince of Wales. The Prime Minister's fingers dialed a number that didn't belong to a diplomat or a general. The first call was to a notorious political spin doctor, a figure known in the dark underbelly of Westminster simply as the memo that destroyed a Prime Minister butcher. A man whose entire career was built not on building policies, but on destroying reputations. The conversation that followed was short, brutal, and terrifyingly precise. Starmer didn't ask for a defense strategy. He didn't ask for a way to explain his failures to the public. He asked for a hit job. "I want the narrative shifted," he reportedly hissed into the receiver, his voice shaking with adrenaline. "By sunrise, I want William painted as unstable. I want the public to believe this memo isn't an act of duty, but an act of madness. Use his mother. Use his anger. Use everything." The plan was simple and devastatingly cruel. They would weaponize the prince's past, his trauma, and his passion against him. While the country burned outside, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom was not fighting the fire. He was pouring gasoline on the royal family. This was the beginning of the dirty plot. A plot hatched in the shadows of 400 driven by a bruised ego and fueled by a desperate fear of losing power. And as that first call ended, the machinery of the state was twisted into a weapon against the crown. The betrayal had officially begun. Within minutes of the phone crashing down in Downing Street, a dormant network across London began to wake up. Government Press Office. It wasn't the civil servants who are sworn to neutrality. It was a shadow unit, a collection of loyalists and media mercenaries who operate in the gray zones of political warfare. By 4:15 a.m., the lights were flickering on in safe houses and encrypted chat rooms across the capital. The order from the butcher was clear. Destroy the prince's credibility before the sun comes up. The strategy they assembled was not just a defense of the Prime Minister. It was a character assassination of the future king. They knew they couldn't attack the facts in William's memo. The evidence of government negligence was too strong, too documented. So they decided to attack the man himself. The narrative crafted in those dark hours was a masterclass in deception. They would paint Prince William not as a savior stepping in to rescue a failing state, but as a dangerous rogue element acting without authority. Scripts were drafted for friendly journalists. Headlines were pre-written for the morning tabloids. The central lie was specific and venomous. The prince has snapped. The spin doctors began drafting anonymous briefings claiming that William was acting erratically, that he was emotionally compromised by the stress of the riots, and most damning of all, that he was acting without the knowledge or permission of King Charles. They wanted